What up, guys? Do you know what Double October actually needed more of? How about some actual Double O? So far, this entire season, so to speak, we have not had a single Double O. And here we go. Figured we'd go for the king as it is. And we got the HG Double O Trans Am Riser. So they call it the Trans Am Riser, even though that's really kind of, I don't know why they give it a whole different name. It's just the Double O Riser Trans Am mode. But it is basically just the most powerful thing with Trans Am, at least from this generation. Because, more comes later. But you've got whatever's happening there. GN-0000. I'm guessing that's coming with the effect parts, if I had to guess. Did they sell one that didn't have that? I don't know. And this one was marketed as having like the gloss metallic injection. Is like they all do. Why is that very specific to this thing? Maybe there was a version also, like I said, that didn't come with the extra parts. I don't know, but this is the one I got. So here we go. So great rendition of the Double O right there. Getting ready to chop some fool into pieces, and then particles just pouring out of it. Like I love me some GN particles, and it is Bandai 2009. And of course, Bandai logo down there. Yes, I know we're sort of skipping ahead here, but I don't have all the other Trans Am kits, because those weren't out yet. So, moving on. And we come to the bottom here, and you've got Trans Am Riser. Kind of blurry, if I'm honest. It's not even really an image. It's actually the figure, the model kit, and then you've got the effect parts, and you've got the colors, and then they actually include all the clear bits there and all that stuff there. And now you've got some animation models here. So he's using the thing with the giant sword, the riser sword, and then coming in here to plow some. And then you got ankles, and then you got, hey, that's a thing, riser sword. And then just the cool stuff. Double O is one of my favorite things ever, if you guys can't tell. So the GN Sword 3, that's the only one I know the number of, does mode change. And you've got GN drives have arrows around them now, just what they do. And you've got the GN Sword 2s. Haha, so these are the 2s. I was right. And have some more effects there too. I don't know what it's kind of highlighting there. And then you've got I can stab at thee. And the waist can do some stuff, I guess. I don't know. And come around this side, and you've got number 42 in the line. So way down there. And Trans Am Riser almost running out of room for texting. And then, hey, he's got some cool GN Sword 3 parts. Yay! I don't know what was going on there. I had to adjust the lighting ever so slightly. So big old read up there, obligatory front and rear shot, because in this generation they actually gave you the front and the rear shot. And you got 18.3 meters tall, so most of them were in that range, which is cool. And then 54.9 tons. And then you got the GN Sword 3, GN Sword 2. I can't tell what the rest of those things are. Shields, whatever the heck those other things are called. I don't even know. I can't tell what's happening in this shot there. It looks like he's fighting somebody. And then he's coming at people, attacking things, and lighting up. That looks the first time he went Trans Am, probably. While he's still in the hangar, which I thought was interesting. So to actually get it to work in the first place, he's like, Trans Am. And it's like, what? Okay. And then you got this number right here. You got Setsuna as pilot, and you've got the O-Riser pilot as Saji Crossrodo. And then, of course, you got a little bitty stand. And then stretched out thing, little guy with the toilet. 3-year-olds don't like double O risers in their face, probably because it hurts. And then you got 20 yen right there, but of course, if you come to that side, I bought it at $24.99. So actually, it wasn't that big a ripoff, if I'm honest. But yay, boop! Big old Trans Am Riser still upside down. It is what it is. Now, of course, this one's going to be slightly longer because more accessories and everything else like that, plus slight transformation, plus all the other things. So, you guys, bear with me. If you know what a double O is, you know what I'm going to have to go through for this. So, just watch the video. Okay? Alright. Let's see how you can be a Gundam. And here we go. We have a double O out here. And all Trans Am-y. Looks cool. Like, when it went Trans Am, I don't remember it being, like, full-on, like, pink and purple and stuff like that when it went. And in the first scene. I could be wrong, but I feel like it was a little bit more bluish. And then, of course, it activated the GN field through the drives to help deflect the beams that were coming at it. So it had a really freaking cool debut, and it wasn't even armed to the teeth. But hey, it's turntable time. So, as my first real foray into an actual 00 HG, because the 00 diver doesn't count, it shares some parts and some design, but really, definitely not the same kit. But I am glad that I have two big old extra GN drives on this guy, because I think I've used up the other GN drives before on the 00 diver. I don't care. I guess I could pull that one out. Not just thinking out loud here. If I felt like it, maybe I'll pull that out for comparison later. I don't know. Who knows? Either way. But it looks really cool. It has all the same kind of aesthetics and things like that all of the other Trans Am kits we've looked at so far. You've got the sparkly bits. You've got all the other stuff. You got the pink and metallic, purpley, reddish, maroonish, blood color thing. But this one is pretty sticker heavy. So let's take a closer look at it. Okay, so once again, having to compensate for the light coming through the sheet there. Now, my biggest issue with this so far was the stickers, especially up here on the V-fin. You guys will probably see them. They'll end up flaring out at some point. So because these V-fins are supposed to be orange or yellow rather, on the regular 00, and they just have the V-fin molded all as one piece, you kind of have to do this really not so happy wraparound sticker gimmick. And it's just not great, if I'm honest. Otherwise, you know, you got the nice bright green eyes and stuff like that, and the head is good, and you've even got the molded cool clear stuff on the side there, so that works out very nice. You do just get a standard double jointed polycap, so you can get, it can look down into its own chest, which is interesting, and then it can look back and up, which is cool, except his eyes are a little crooked. One thing I haven't really mentioned so far, see, once again, I feel like I gotta fix the sticker. Also, I cut off the nubs. I don't know if that made a difference. Say, like, any of these, for the most part, if you line up the eye sticker properly, you end up cutting off half of what is on the sticker for the eye. And it almost gives a much lower profile to the eyes. It's just really weird. I mean, I'm sure it's intentional, but it's weird. Alright, so here on the chest, you got the part separation here for the little orange bits. You also get the nice orange neck there. So if you have the regular one, obviously, all the part separation is going to be nice. You got the red part down there, red part down here. Come to the shoulders, you gotta remember the shoulders move separate, so you get the like a much more modern style butterfly for the shoulders there. If you move the GN drives back just a little on their own ball joints and stuff like that, you get a little more room to move. You can rotate these or just skip ahead a hair, so you can get the arm up, use some bicep rotation, and what is kind of a double jointed elbow. It like hinges here and there. Yeah, so you can, it is a double jointed elbow. It's not even just a kinda. So that's good. And then you get the extra joint up here in the wrist. So it's triple jointed arm plus wrist there. And you can get a high Setsuna, which is cool. And then you get the jewels there on the side, which looks all party and stuff. I dig that. And you can move it back and forth, so he's got a ball joint in the torso, so he has a little bit of rocker, which means when you have it all 00 risered up, it will eventually get weak on you. Now, side skirts are more traditional, new, modern side skirt thingies, and then the front skirt doesn't exist. Or like on the MG and stuff, this can tilt, that just sort of gets out of the way. And you can get a good chorus line there. Can go back pretty far, because you can avoid the beam sabers on the butt skirt. Big old double jointed knees like such, and you got these stickers all right through there, which is fine and dandy. And he does have real thigh rotation, because you're not worried about the other thing. And he should have some shimmy. So that's good. That's very good. You can tell the difference in like just advancing the technology just a little bit here. And so you've got a hinge mount up there with a ball joint, I think. No ball joint, my bad. And then you got the massive ankle tilt, and that armor does move. So that's cool. So you can really drop like that if you really feel like it. I don't know why you would, but you can. And now coming to the backpack, since we got a lot more going on back here. Like I said, you got some ball joints and kind of a hinge here. And then you've got the parts that can swivel here. They're super tight, and I'm scared about that, if I'm honest. And then you got a hinge here, and you can rotate. So your GN drives can move in almost every direction that they should. In reality, they probably can move in every direction that they should. You also have this big old hole back here. That's for nothing later on. I guarantee it. And you got the little thrusters there. You do have the beam sabers here that I just knocked that one off and went flying. And you can either insert them in the bottom, or I believe you can technically insert them here. So, like, that's how they deploy. They go, whoop, and then you can pull them out that way. So, if for some reason you needed them displayed that way, you can. If otherwise, you just stick them in here until they fall out and you misplace them forever. Isn't that what the point of beam sabers is? To be misplaced forever? Right? Right. Okay, so this guy comes with a lot of stuff. I'm not even sure where to start, so let's just start with his basic weapons, I guess. I gotta move that out of the way. Just get over there. So he has his GN Sword 2. So these guys are nice. If you've done any 00s, you should see these. You know what they look like. And this is in their sword mode, which you can just hold ever so nicely. It actually does have a pretty good grip on it. And they do have a peg on them to plug into the side skirts, which we'll look at here in a second when we get to storage mode. So you can hold them both. You do get a big old wraparound sticker right there, which I'm okay with, because I was trying to figure out, it's like, how's that going to work? And once again, that's where they start playing fast and loose with concept of reality on these things. So like, hey, isn't that supposed to be gray? Yeah, but we're going to make it purpley and shimmery. All right. Okay. All right, and because these things are what they are, they can have some cool blast effects. Look at this. You get this part here that just scissors around here and then goes flying later on. So you can do that number. You turn them into gun mode. Like so. Turn that sideways. Flip down the guard. Just a little tight, just be careful. And then flip down the handle. I know this part's sort of in the way, but you should be able to hold it no problem, and that should plug, well, in the MG at least, it plugs into the forearm. You know, I said he could hold it no problem, and then he's not holding it. I assume that will go in there. Yeah, it does. Okay. Don't prove me wrong, 00. 00. Always prove me wrong. Okay. You know, there's times that I like to do things for the first time with you guys watching, just so you can see how big a pain in the butt they can be. That's one of them. So that was a bit of a pain. So you can have these go either way on the sides, but generally speaking, since this is the gun mode for the right hand, you want that one on the right side. And they just plug into the side skirts. No big deal. You just gotta be careful that they're not in the way of anything like Setsuna's or Setsuna Exia's versions are. Fold that up. Pull off the cool beam effect. And yes, you get 2 of those beam effects. I wasn't forgetting it. I just, no point in bringing out 2 when I can show off 1. And we'll store those nice and neatly. Stay. And he does come with beam blades for the beam sabers, I think. See, that doesn't make sense. Hold on. These are... Let me look. Okay, it does work. I thought they were square blades. They're not, so if you do want to have your beam saber blades, you can. So that's all entirely on you if you want. Now, he does come with the obligatory left hand of smacking. I'm going to start calling it that from now on. It's a little late, but I can start calling it that. So, the left hand of smacking. Hey. Hey. I'm such a dork. And that's pretty awesome. Now, the GN swords, almost forgot about this, have one other mode they can do. It does have a twin blade attack kind of thing. I don't know what to call it realistically, but you can combine them into one effective weapon. You just have to remove this part. So you want to flip that up. Just kind of get that out of your way. Just pull it. Those will come off. Do the same thing on the other side. May have to pry it just a hair just to get it started. There you go. And then you've got this cool conjoined piece here. Now this is something new for the HG. Of course, the MG comes with a different setup to tab them together, but you can do this, which is interesting to say the least, and it seems pretty stable. I almost forgot it came with it. It's sitting out to the side. I was like, what is that thing? Oh. So that's pretty neat, and you can hold it if you feel like doing that. How do you get it in there? Oh yeah. Wow. Okay. Can you tell I've done way too many reviews this week? I'm sitting there like, it doesn't go in the hand. It can't slide down through the thing. Yeah, I'm dumb. And they're not mirrored, which I find interesting. You would think that they would be, but nope. Nope, nope, nope. Get in there, hand. Come on. I guess you gotta pick one or the other. It doesn't really go right down the middle. But that's fine. I think he may have used this at least once in battle. I don't recall. 00 was a long series, but look at that. That's pretty neat. Alright, so aside from that weapon, he does have another one that goes in his right hand. And speaking of right hand, go ahead and put that back on. Like so. And you do get his... Oops. You get his really epic GN Sword 3, which is one of my favorite things. And it does come with the nice green translucent blade, all this fun part here. And it does mount into the arm, very similarly to the way the GN Sword 1 does on the Exia. So put that in there, cinch that over there, and you got a tab that will tab in back here on the forearm somewhere. And it makes a pretty solid connection. And now you've got it with its epic Weapon of Doom, except it didn't stay like it should have. Okay, hold on, I'm trying to get that in the place there. Alright, so it tabbed in really well before. Oh, there it goes. It wasn't quite there. Alright, now it does have the sword form, of course. That was its blaster form. So you've got that big epic thing hanging out the front there. So I've got handles here. So this is awesome. That's awesome. You know how it gets even more awesome? Giving it a beam condom. Yep. So just like the MG came with, it comes with this thing. And those two separate pieces, you just kind of squidge them together. Slide it over the blade, line up the tabs, and hope you don't accidentally split it all in half like I just did. So you line up all the tabs, to and fro. I don't believe it was directional. I think you could just... There you go. Dang it. If you're going to use it, I might suggest gluing it. It might never stay together, if I'm honest. Because it's really fighting me. I don't know why. But you get that coolness, except for the fact it does keep coming apart. That's stupid. Look at that. The more I fight it, the more it fights me back. And it keeps taking off that beam emitter. So it was actually like a tri-cannon. It actually shot 3 shots at once. That was cool. I like that he was using it at one point to shoot almost like beam blades. Like it was cutting ships in half with it. Thought that was awesome. So, I mean, the 00 has done some crazy stuff. And then, of course, you get the riser sword, which is what this is, technically speaking. The gigantic one where he actually cuts the Memento Mori, or even other ships. They're like, that's not just a beam blast, that's a sword. Okay, so yeah, definitely need to glue this tab together. Just some super glue. Keep that bad boy together. And, well, let's get the swords back on his side skirts. Alright, so put these back on. We're just trying to get him fully armed up here. My arm is laying in beam sabers. I'm gonna lose my hand. I'm gonna lose my hand to some beam sabers. So that's pretty cool. Now he also does come with these things, which are kind of shields, kind of blades at the same time. And, I mean, I don't know that they have a real name, honestly. I know what the evolution of them was, like on the 7 swords and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty neat, but I always call them tonfas. That's not what they're called. They're guitars, something like that. I don't know. But these are neat, and I think you can, I could be wrong, I think you could tab them in right here. Yeah, you can, okay. Once again, things I have not tried until now. So yeah, you can have these on, so now you've got your 00 essentially all armored up for his basic battle. And then these things also act as a shield, as previously stated. Better keep knocking things off. And so you've got a tab down here. Now this one is the solid base, so this one doesn't change much. Oh, by the way, I believe the blades move in and out, so you can do that. Okay, so you want to pull this part up, slide it forward, tab it back in. Come to this one, you pull off this part, so now you got a flat bit there. And do the same thing. And then you can tab these two together. Stay. That's not a super connection, if I'm honest. And then you can use that to tab into the forearm back here. Wow, that really doesn't stay together. Like that, and like that, and now you've got his shield. Honestly, that has always been like the weakest part of the weaponry for me, so I don't generally do that. So I like really customize those on my MG to be something entirely different. So I'm going to take those apart and put them back as they were. So you just kind of looking at it upside down here. There we go. So put those back how they were, which is fine. Now we got to talk about the biggest accessory it comes with. Stand. So it does have a very nice stand here. It does go in the crotch. Super simple one. It's not like the later ones. In fact, it does keep things at a really strange angle. Like that's not even straight up and down. Not even sure why they wouldn't give you the ability to go straight up and down. But, you know, it's a thing. Just like the O-riser is a thing. So now let's set this to the back for just now. So you get the O-riser. Should look familiar. Really cool fighter type booster thing. Orange cockpit there because it's this version of it. It's not even a cockpit. Cockpit's actually back here. Just sensor arrays and stuff like that. But it looks really cool. Where is the focus? There's one thing that's kind of awkward about these Trans Am things. They don't stay in focus that well. It's kind of like a soft edge on everything. But if you're familiar with the 00 at all, you know what the O-riser is. And it looks good. You got stickers all over, especially down here. Stuff like that back here on the tail. You can see one of the bigger ones that you got to kind of finagle into place. Got a little bit of a nub there, but it is what it is. Still really cool. And this one does go on the flight stand. You can just pop off this little guy down here. Hopefully. Hopefully. Like, seriously, the heck? See if I can get a knife under there. Wow, that was really tabbed in there. Oops, just lost a part. Like I said, stuff sticking on my forearms here. So it can go on the stand. That is a polycap in there, I think. So there you go. Flight stand. Of course, you guys saw this in the thumbnail more than likely. And just like you do, you can put these guys over here. Just tab them in. Now I left them in their shield mode. Doesn't really matter, if we're honest about it. So those plug on there. And there's your O-riser. Now the only thing that does suck, it does not have the ability to carry the sword like the MG does. And it doesn't come with the landing gear, which are here, here, and here. So no landing gear for this guy. But if we want to go into docking mode, just pull this out like you do. And just fold her down and around. And it reveals the peg. And that peg does go into the back like it does. Guided by little laser thingies. And there you go. It's all done. There's your O-riser. It can't even stand because now the backpack is way too heavy. So if we want to balance that out a little bit, pull off the winglets, which as you notice there, you got to pull back and pull out. So it's got a slot right there. Now let's see here. Let's get it to stand properly. Put your hand down. Stay. Alright, so we want to come over here, open these guys up. And those are probably going to fall off. And now you've got this area here, which can flip up, and you've got a new set of tabs there. And then the same thing on this side, except that's going to happen, which is annoying. And see, that plugs in. Wait, what? Oh, okay, I was looking at it wrong. So one tab goes into the bottom slot there on the GN drive, and then the other one goes like that. And then I think these are supposed to move. Yeah, there we go. You tilt those in ever so slightly, and then you can open up these little winglets like that, which is awesome. I think these open up. I could be wrong. Okay, I don't think those open up. I know they do on the MG, but they definitely don't here. And there you go. There's your Trans Am riser, full and complete. And of course, we can put him on the stand now for whatever good it'll do us. And by the way, all of the plug holes do have covers. So much like his MG form, being on a stand doesn't do him too much good, but it does look fine. Okay, forget the stand. And let's take a quick break since we've already done so much up to this point. Okay, well, you know, it's fun to put it in an epic pose and all, except when you can't use the stand worth the crap. Once again, why is the stand like that? It doesn't make any sense. Like, so obviously, like, he'll go on a much better stand in the future, something like the one that Curios is on. But you can get him in this cool pose, and of course, if you really want to get him in like the epic like thing. God, that keeps coming off. The same piece keeps coming off. Come on. Once again, glue, so you can get him in this pose just fine, except that, you know, it's awkward. So let's go ahead and, well, knock everything over, because if you don't do that, then it doesn't count. You know how it works. You guys should know how it works now. If things don't get knocked over or kicked or whatever, it doesn't count. I will say that joints are super stiff, which makes me nervous as I move it around. And you'd think that a Y-shaped stand would be more sturdy, but it sucks. You know, like the actual gun is wanting to flex instead of the arm. So that's annoying. So let's bring out all the other Trans Am kits we looked at this week. So there's Virtue. Now, mind you, of course, these guys were not active together because at this point we had upgraded to all the new Gundams. And so we got Exia there, and then Curios back there. This is a terrible lineup, but good enough for now. Whew. Uh-oh. Okay. Little bitty piece there. But guys, that's pretty cool. So, and then of course there's your Exia to 00 comparison. Yay! So let's just do the final thoughts while we got everybody here on screen. So the 00 riser as an HG is kind of fun. I'm used to the MG, which I've had a couple of at this point, which, you know, I kind of knew what I was getting into. Some things that the HG does a little bit better. The way the weapons store and connect and things like that is a little bit more solid. You know, less moving parts is better in some aspects, but they keep a lot of the same spirit of the thing, so that tends to work out really well. It does have some cool posability, like you would expect. Although I'm guessing at some point polycaps will get weak and things will start drooping over time. But hopefully before then, it'll just be cool. These stickers on the horns there suck. I wish there was a better option. A two-piece crown, so to speak, would have been better. But I guess in the case of the regular HG non-Trans Am, you can definitely paint that and it wouldn't be offensive in any way. Just hit it with some yellow paint and whatnot, but it's pretty good. And of course, adding to the Trans Am collection, I really do dig it. But now that means I have to get the second season Gundams all in Trans Am, which is probably going to be the hardest thing so far. Now, of course, guys, there's still one more kit to go in Trans Am Week, and it was the one that I was sort of like, do I do it in Trans Am Week or not? But it says Trans Am on it, so we'll do it. But guys, if you like this video, give me a big old 00 thumb up, 00 riser thumb. And of course, if you want to check out the Patreon, that'd be great. Every little bit does help the channel. And of course, Trans Am Week shirts, or regular 00 October shirts, whatever you want to get. Of course, Trans Am Week stuff is only available during Trans Am Week, and once it's over, and you can never get them ever again. I apologize. Sucks to be you in the future who didn't get to have the Trans Am Week 2019 shirt. It won't say 2019, but anyway. But guys, I will catch you tomorrow on that next review and the last one of Trans Am Week. Remember, as always, the thing.